Welcome to Princess Coded the Podcast, the place that prides in intimate conversations surely to make you feel like royalty. I am your host, Amaya Kai, and I'm truly excited that you guys have decided to tune in to hear a little me just talk about, well, anything, honestly. First off, I would like to give a huge shout out to God because, y'all, this was merely a vision that I would have never expected to go this far, but when you have something that you pray over and you literally just sit down in the midnight hour and just plan, it's sure to happen the best way that it can, and it will be in the right time. And so I just want to give a huge shout out to God for just giving me such a big vision and using me in this moment, because I would have never expected this to happen. Most importantly, I want to thank my team for this moment, because y'all don't understand how much of a struggle it was to get here. So shout out to my marketing team and my brand consultant, Ramika and Shanti. I love y'all so much. Now, before we get into this episode, I would like for all of us to be able to take a moment of silence and recognize the countries that are going through genocide right now, such as Congo, Palestine, Sudan, Armenia, Kurdistan, Haiti, and so many other countries right now. And most importantly, let's find organizations that will purposely donate and support the cause of supporting these countries, because we have to be able to realize that could have been us in those situations. So I urge and encourage you all to take the step like myself and realize what it means to be in the positions that we are, because like I said, any of us could have been in that. And if you don't believe in God, or if you do, make sure you tell him thank you, because we have to realize that everybody else does not live the life that we live, and we should always be grateful and in thanksgiving in every moment, because we never know when life could take a turn for us, especially in the worst ways, and even when we don't expect it the most. So let's take this moment to realize that there are other things going on in the world, and we must be able to focus and give support when we can. Now, going into this episode, I want not to really start off so big, but I want to be able to do something that's kind of near and dear to me, which is a girl talk. And for all my girls, I know y'all know it, y'all love it, and sometimes we gonna need it. So let's get straight into it. Since I made the transition to becoming an HBCU student at the Fort Valley State University, I did not realize how hard it was to be a girl. Just being a black girl in today's society is so difficult without being judged. You might be laughing at me right now as I'm saying all this, but honestly, I really have a point to deliver here, y'all. Now, I'm not here to throw no beef fit or give y'all just a little complaining session. That's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for is to let y'all know what it means to be somewhere every day, and you wake up in the morning, you're just like, ooh, I'm finna have a good day. It take me a good little 30 minutes to go get ready, y'all, because where I go to school and in the position I'm in, I'm freshman class secretary. And I realized that presence is really a big thing. So I always take like a good 30 minutes to an hour to get ready. And if you've ever seen like those TV shows when we were kids and just like, getting ready, just doing a whole little routine and just acting like you're on a TV show. Now, I have a little guilty pleasure. I love acting like I'm on an episode of Vogue and I'm just showing all my beauty secrets. Man, sometimes I'll be running 30 minutes late because I'll be acting like I'm on television. And it's okay. But I always hate that my inner saboteur always has something to say. Because I always look at myself in the mirror sometimes. I say, ooh, this is great. But then I look, I'm like, this is not what I envisioned for myself. And honestly, I always feel that my head kind of has a camera and it always pulls a Beyonce. Now, for the Beehive, I'm really sorry what I'm about to say. I know she told us that we were the visuals, but I can't be standing around every time anticipating for somebody to say she ain't no diva. Like, y'all, I can't sing. That's why I ain't singing. But yeah, I shouldn't really feel like there's somebody waiting for a camera gonna be like, Is that Amaya? Oh my gosh. I always feel that there's a paparazzi moment waiting to happen. But, I mean, sometimes I could be delusional. Now, don't get me wrong. I do love getting my hair and my nails. I just started getting into lashes, y'all. And let me tell you, I love a good individual lash set. But I'm like a baby lash girl, though. I don't know why. I think it's because I wear glasses and I'm already blind. I don't want to have something that I have on my eyes and I can't see. And also, I don't know if it's just me. If I don't get that stuff done, I'm not going outside. But that's so real though. And I feel like I shouldn't have to pay for being a girl either. Not really pay money in a sense, but just payment in looking for things that society hands me. And it's all just like, ooh, use this and you're not going to lose your man. Use this. Now, let me give y'all a little visual. Y'all know them little TikTok videos with that little sound where it's like, use this to claim, use this to not have. I'm like, what? Now, don't get me wrong though. I had a guilty pleasure using those too. But as I've been growing in my relationship with God, I was like, man, a lot of these things that society has to offer us is a facade for real. I feel like society in a way is like a ghetto Santa because they're always so down to give us gifts that is truly a bomb waiting to just pop out and just destroy us with a golden bowl. And y'all know gold is one of my favorite colors. So with that being said, I always just feel like society really has a plan and a hidden agenda against us because we're always pitted against people that look like us or sound like us. And me being a black girl in today's world, and especially at an HBCU, I always see so many girls on social media and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. I could never be like her. She has a good style. And as a person who's always been through a situation that has allowed me to go down a rabbit hole trying to change who I was mentally, physically for a long time, and most importantly, emotionally, knowing good and well that was not me. It'd be hard, y'all. But growing up, I've always felt like I had to fit in, and it was really just weird. And that was just a younger Amaya who always grew around people that always had something to do. Like, I wasn't really your average young girl who had, the natural hair. She had her, her nails done all the time. She had pretty skin. She had, dare I say, a beautiful body. Because I've always struggled with that. And to be honest, I am in that stage in my life where I am learning. I am adjusting to what it means to have not really an image that was perfect, because I am not perfect, but I know I was made by God for a reason. And that's okay. But going back to the society thing, I feel like we're always pitted, especially in the media. Now, we all love a good little media footage. We love scrolling through social media every day, seeing our favorite celebrities. But is it just me, or does the Shade Room and all these other places love to pit against black women? It's always a black woman being seen with another black woman who has on the same outfit asking, ooh, who has it better? Or just, it's so much that social media does to us that we're not able to see. And even as a woman of God also, I'm always looking for a good little video on how to improve my relationship with God. Yet it's always something that tells me I have to do this to be loved by God. I have to wear these certain clothes. And now, I'm not no Bible bookworm. I'm not. But nobody has yet to tell me where in the Old and the New Testament alike it said that. So in my mind, I'm always just asking God. I be like, God, you ain't say that, did you? And I'm being so real because why am I having to change so much about myself in the style that I have developed to be comfortable in, to be loved by a man who has made me in his image, and not to be not really suppressed but transformed by the ways that are not of him. And I feel like, and if I call the Christian community out as a Christian, that's fine. But I don't want y'all taking this the wrong way with what I say. But I will say it. A lot of Christian women don't understand what it means to be loved by God without having somebody else that claims that they're their sister in Christ, having them feel like they don't belong. And that's not okay because, as I said previously, we shouldn't have to feel like we have to go change everything about us or be around certain people to become who he said we are. But I am a firm believer in that all things are for a purpose, and we are meant to be in different places in different times. But a lot of the things that we end up in is probably because of who we're with. And it's unheard of. But for those who do not know what this statement means, I'll gladly go into it a little bit further. Not all skin folk is kin folk. When I say that, I truly mean that, honestly, a lot of the people that look like us or talk like us are truly not for us. They always just the Uncle Tom all the time. And I just started getting into Boondocks. I've looked at Uncle Ruckus or Uncle Tom. I don't know his name. So for all y'all Boondocks fans, don't get on me, please. I feel like, how are you that racist, but you don't even know what it means to be in that community? It's just, I know everybody was raised differently, but you can unlearn the things that you're talking about or just spewing out for no specific reason. And I feel like as a black girl today, seeing a lot of people that look like me, walk like me, and talk like me, always having something to say or just wanted to fix something just for us to be a societal fit. And with the way society paints the definition of what it means to be a girl, it can be hard to not follow it because we are not meant to follow what society says about us. But y'all, I am honestly the blueprint of that. I might not be in a dictionary, but I think I'm a definition of that because I've always seen myself just being in the moment, always feeling like I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, or I'm just not equipped enough. And I always feel like I let down God in a way because it's just, he be looking at me like, Amaya, did you really just say that after I did not say that to you? And it's hard because there's always somebody who has something to say, whether if it's your family, your friends, people just looking at you. It doesn't matter. It's not okay to feel like that. And I'm probably speaking to so many people when I say this. You don't have to change anything about you. You don't have to look at the latest trends or something and just become that, because even though you might change in that moment and feel like, wow, I look the greatest that I've ever looked in my life, you might not be content. And I feel like that is why a lot of us search for things that are truly temporary, yet we don't set our focus on the things that are eternal. And that goes for me as well, because when I look at certain things that is handed to me or I see, I always feel like I gotta have it. I gotta have it. But at the same time, my mind always tells me you're meant for something greater. And with that greater in mind, I always let God kind of speak to me in my lowest moments, even though I feel like he should be speaking to me every day. Nah, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I am very hard-headed. I'm stubborn. I get it. Because I don't know if there's anybody else in this zodiac, although I don't believe in it. I'm a Taurus. And everybody always says, oh, Taurus girls are so stubborn. Da 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 da. Like, I'm not stubborn. I stand on business. Although I'm not the best at standing on it. But I stand on business with a high heel shoe with some glitter on it. And I not stand on it, baby. I stamp on it. So, I'm the definition. If you see the definition of stamping on business, my picture, my headshot will be on there. Baby, I look like Mariah Carey during Christmas season. Give me my coin. Hello? But at the end of the day, I always let God speak to me in those moments where I've always felt like I wasn't equipped enough. And He always tells me that you have something greater on the inside of you. You just have to be able to access it. And when I say access it, we actually have the power to access these things that He has for us. It's just, since we are in the positions that we are in, or sometimes we put ourselves in there, it's hard to realize that. And as a girl growing up now in a world that has unfortunately let us down in so many ways, it has been unfortunately difficult to hear those things. And I know I'm speaking to somebody when I say this. In order to be the person that you are meant to be, you have to be willing to change. Change in the sense that you let Him take those things that are not of Him, replace them with things that you know that you are willing to do, and most importantly, things that you love. Because at the end of the day, as a female, we have a greater purpose. We have a purpose to be in higher positions when it comes to the workforce, be innovators, lead in a way that nobody has ever seen. It's just that, like I previously stated, a lot of people don't tell us that because we are around the wrong people. And how do you change those things? You have to be willing to pray over those people that you're going to be placed with. You have to pray over those unknown places that you want to be in. You have to pray over those possessions that you want to be blessed with, or most importantly, lack thereof. The things that He has for you, because there is always greater in what He has. Even though we may see it as, we might love it, we might want it for the rest of our lives, but it cannot serve every season in every era, as we like to call it, in a major way. Now, for all my girls who are in the soft girl era, hear it from me. I know that we love our good little pampering, we love a good self-care, but at the same time, we have to be willing to take the things that are greater for us and transform them. When we are in that soft girl era, and I feel like the soft girl era is a facade as well, because even though we're soft, we're still facing things that knock us off our square hard. But that doesn't mean that you don't have to, respectfully be in that era. You just have to transform. And I feel like eras, as we like to call it, are just ways of calling it seasons. And instead of saying soft girl, I call it my healing era, because I'm in that era right now where I'm truly just learning how to heal from hurt, from other friends, family members, to boys. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that there are things that you don't even know are there for you. You are just so in a world that was provided for you and you're so stuck in it. But however, the transition into knowing who you are in Christ, what you're meant to do, it comes at a time when you're willing to know about it. And it might not come easy. I'll give you that. It does not come easy at all. Yet, it is a certain grace level that you have to give yourself. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel like you're not enough in that world. But at the same time, you need to come out of that season knowing who you are and what you are meant to do. Now, I'm speaking to the younger self that I have not had a full conversation with. Although in my dreams, I do. I wish I would have told myself this recently. You are so much more than what people let on. You have to be able to train yourself to know that there are doors that you might not even realize that you have access to, but you are meant for higher. You are meant to bless so many people. But like I said, you have to be willing to understand what your essence is. And don't lose your essence for nobody. Do not. And most importantly, don't give yourself access to things that you are not raised up in, as you will encounter a dark place that will only sink you further and further until you don't see any daylight. As I'm speaking from experience, I recently just went through this myself. I saw myself lose who I was because I did not take care of myself. I did not take care of my relationship with God. I did not take care of my temple, as the Bible calls it. I was not taking care of what I was born to do. And not many people will tell you the things that you have to heed to. Not many people will tell you the things that your spirit needs to have. Most importantly, not many people will tell you you are qualified for what you are called to do. And in that qualification, you might not even know you possess it. That is why I say don't lose your essence for anybody, because your essence will truly grow firmly and beautifully if you let those things that are not of God go. And there's a fine saying that says, let go and let God have his way. And I'm urging somebody, including myself, to do it. Because at the end of the day, there is a higher authority over your life, and you need to speak over yourself. So start speaking life unto those visions. Start speaking life unto those things that you want to have. Start speaking life over those people that you want to have. Especially speak life into your future husband. And here's another thing too. We always get into relationships and we feel like, oh, well, this is the man for me. But what if somebody else is better for you? And I'm being honest here too. I always put myself in situations with people that I feel like, oh, I can change them. But at the same time, and this might not only go for a friend. This can go for family members too. This could go for your boyfriend. You feel like you can change a person, yet now, if you pray that dangerous prayer, and y'all know what I'm talking about, you gonna see not everybody meant to go with you in every season. And honestly, that's okay, boo. It is. Because you are well prepared to endure what is in front of you. You might not know it now, but you are well prepared. You are more than qualified. And girl, you pretty. You have to tell yourself that. I haven't told myself that in a minute. But then if I record a video, I'll be like, dang, I'm pretty. Like, you just have to start working at yourself little by little. Because you don't understand that you will be able to bless somebody so hard. You just have to be willing to sow so much that you might not even know into those visions, into those things that you want to have in your life. So when I say sow, it's not like sowing actual money. Sow your mind, sow your talent, sow your gifts into what you want. And guess what? Watch how God gonna flourish over it. But when you're sowing over these things, you have to constantly water it. You can water yourself, you can water your mind, you can water your spirit. But the first thing that you must water is your spirit. Because if you let your spirit get a hold of the things that are not of God, you are in a world load of trouble. And you can get out. It's not hard. But you need to understand what it is in this season that you are learning, so that you can take it on to the next thing and say to myself, wow, I got through it. Because you have to possess the willingness, the willpower, and the courage to invite God into everything that you do. And to be honest, it might be hard from the jump. Nobody said it was easy. But when you let go and let God have his way over you, your mind, your body, you need to start possessing the ability to speak over yourself or let God speak over you. Because prior knowledge of myself, I never would have expected to hear my pastor, shout out to my uncle by the way, tell me that God be praying over his kids. He do. That's why the things that we don't see in the natural happens in the supernatural, because God is fervently praying over his people every day. He says, I pray over my child. I pray over this woman. I pray over the woman she is meant to be. I pray over the woman that she is now. I pray that she realizes what is there for her. I pray that she realizes what she likes. I pray over that the possessions that she sees now becomes bigger. It becomes bigger in her plain view to realize that she is meant for greater. And you need to start telling yourself, she is me. Like, when I tell y'all, I have a thing in my iPad that tells me what I am every day. I don't call it my affirmations. I call it the things that God has told me. You can write them down. Like, you can just pray to God and say, God, who am I? And honestly, it's so much better knowing that there's a person that loves you, that has created you. And although we may see womanhood as something that is not the best thing in the world, it's okay, because we have a greater purpose. And at first we might be rejected by the boys, our friends, strangers. We have to realize that we are able to elevate those very spaces that firsthand rejected us. And I don't know who I'm speaking to again. Find those opportunities that you would have never thought that you would be able to step into. Because guess what? You will be raising up somebody that was meant to be seen in a higher authority, to be seen as a leader, to be seen as somebody who will be able to take on everything that she is called to have. And as I end this, I want you to take away these things that I've said. You are called for a higher authority. Speak life unto everything that you are called to do. Know who you are and know whose you are, which is the ingredient to succeed in life. I'm going to give y'all a cheat code on that. Don't let any girl, whether you know them or you don't, tell you that you have to look like this, sound like this, walk like this to be who you want to be. And most importantly, let go and let God have his way. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has listened and took heed to what I say. Thank you all for tuning into the pilot episode. And you guys can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Yes, I decided to do a lot of platforms because I want to make sure everybody has an equal chance, because not a lot of people might have these platforms, and that's okay. So I decided to be equal, y'all. So y'all might not tell me thank you, but thank you, Ryan. And most importantly, follow all socials to interact and be updated. And once again, I am your host, Amaya Kai, and I'll see you next time at the Palace. Bye. From the screen to each and every airways, welcome back all of my American beauties to a brand new conversation right here on the People's Princess Podcast, the place that provides intentional and intimate conversations surely to make you feel like royalty. I am your host, which is also known as the H.P.I.C, the head princess in charge, this generation's people princess, Amaya Kai, and I am coming to you all live from a new location in my first in-person interview. I'm very excited, and especially with me being at Fort Valley State, I want to make sure I get some Fort Valley State people. And what better way to bring this beautiful lady right here?
Hey y'all, I am Jordan Gallimore. I don't have a whole introduction, but hey y'all.
But yes, this is Jordan Gallimore. She is a rising junior at the Fort Valley State University as a...
I'm a junior, too.
Oh, she a junior.
I'm a junior.
She a junior right now. Okay.
Yeah, we getting up out of here soon.
And she is also your Miss Junior.
Yeah.
Newly crowned.
Newly crowned.
For the 2024 to 2025 academic year.
Uh-oh.
And so, first question, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I feel good. I feel like I tend to look good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited for this to be like my first interview. Like, this dope. I've always wanted to have like a space where I can go do stuff with other people, and now we got the timing is right. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. And it should be.
Today's conversation it's not really a regular interview. It's really just like a conversation between both of us. Mm-hmm. And for you all who do not know how my interview style goes, I want to make each and every interview a conversation, because at the end of the day, if you're not having a conversation with your guest, then what are you doing? At the end of the day, period, you and the guests are supposed to have a conversation. And most importantly, it stays in the room as well. So everything that is said will stay in this room, period, point in the blank. And without further ado, let's get into today's conversation with Miss Jordan. All right, so the first question is, what do you feel would be the words to describe your experience so far at Fort Valley State?
A roller coaster. A literal
That's real. That's real.
And I feel like, honestly, being at HBCU, it has like changed me and influenced me to be a better person. Like, when you're around people who are trying to do the exact same thing as you be wanting to be better. Like, you want to encourage them, you want to inspire them, you want to be a part of just like their victories. Like, you just, I don't know. Like, being at HBCU, it's like being in a family. Mm-hmm. Like, my first touring here, like my first tour here, I had came during campaign week. Everybody was so loving. Everybody was just very, like, they came up to me, spoke to me, asked my name. Maybe it was during campaign week, but like, regardless, I just love the experience and how everybody was just family. Like, we all black, baby. Let's just love each other, please.
That's real. Mm-hmm. And my next question would be, what sold you exactly on making Fort Valley State University your college?
I got the most money here.
That's real. That's why I'm here too.
Yeah, like, I just got money here. We're not paying nothing. No, I'm not paying nothing. Even though debt, no money on that card.
No student loans.
Like, we're not paying none of that, baby.
And that's the craziest thing. A lot of people don't realize that sometimes we gotta go where the money go. And the crazy story is, I've never heard of Fort Valley State until around this time last year. And now that I'm actually here, like, it's still don't feel real. I'm at Fort Valley State. Because not even being from Georgia, it's just like, man. Because crazy thing is, I was supposed to go to Alcorn State in Lawrence, Mississippi. It's in Lawrence, Mississippi. Mm-hmm. So at first, that was like my school choice. I was so bent on it. Nobody could tell me nothing. I was going to Alcorn.
Right.
But it was so crazy because I was going through a little situation. And I was like, man, I don't even know if I'm going to school at this point. Because my last resort was going back to school home in Chicago. But then my mom was like, nah, it's an HBCU college fair. Let's go hear what they have to say. So when we went, my mom saw Fort Valley State. And she was like, let's just go see what they have to say. And then once they started talking, I was like, okay, that's cool. Not only did I get a acceptance on the spot, but the scholarship that I'm on, which is the Searchlight Scholarship for anybody who is looking into going into Fort Valley State University. It's a scholarship for out-of-state students, which will allow you to pay in-state tuition. So it was one of the biggest blessings, and it was between Fort Valley State or Talladega College, which is in Talladega, Alabama. And I ended up choosing Fort Valley State.
Is Talladega HBCU?
Yeah, it's an HBCU. It's in the, I think it's a SWAC division school.
What does that mean?
Where is it, SIAC? No, because we play against Talladega.
I've never heard of Talladega.
Yeah, Talladega's in Alabama. I've only heard of them around because I used to dance in high school. Mm-hmm. So, like...
Period. You were like a majorette?
Yeah, I used to dance in school.
Yeah, why you not dancing here?
Girl, fun fact, y'all. I used to dance in high school. Period. Shout out to Divine Diamonds dance team. DD4L. Every time, every trip. But yeah, I used to dance. The reason why I didn't is because I didn't have time to come down here for tryouts and stuff. Mm-hmm. So if I would have done it, I would have.
So like, why you don't do it like this year?
Am I thinking about it? Probably. I'm probably thinking about it, but yeah.
Well, just make sure you know the people that's on that team first.
Yeah, I know some people on it so far, but I don't know. I might give it a little chance my last 2 years here, but yeah.
And make sure that's what you want to do on that team.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So for us, crazy thing is we didn't really do like majorette. We did like Chicago style majorette, which is like a very different style of Southern majorette. And also we did like a lot of different styles as well. So we kind of did like a little here and there hip hop type thing. But yeah, we was very open on doing different styles and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Okay, next thing is what made you choose your major, and also what is your major here for Baptist
Okay, so I am a family consumer science major.
Okay.
With a minor in psychology. So my goal is to become a psychologist.
Okay.
But because I'm an 1890 scholar, you have to do it like under like the ag department. So it has to be like agriculture, economics, anything agriculture. So family consumer science fell under that, and that was the closest thing to the major that I wanted to do, like what I wanted to do, like what I would get the most credits in once I get my PhD. So like I just did one to get the money, and two to make sure I get them classes. So that's my major. That's why I'm doing it. If I could have afforded it like without like the 1890 scholarship, I would have definitely like been. My major would have been my major would have been psychology.
Okay. Yeah. For those who do not know, can you explain what the 1890 scholarship is? Okay,
so if you go to an 1890 school that has like a land grant, like I know Albany is one of them, Fort Valley is one of them. I'm not positive what the other ones are. So pretty much you'll fall under like two divisions. So say I had a 3.8, 3.9 in high school. So if you're above like a 3.5, you'll get over $4,000 each semester. So $8,000 in total. If you have like below a 3.5 in high school, you'll get like say $2,000 per semester. Regardless, it helps. So you just have to do essays. I didn't have to do an interview, but you have to do a few essays. It helps a lot. $4,000 a semester, that helps a lot. I don't know about nobody else, but that covered my housing.
And that's real.
Yeah. So definitely, if you go to HBCU, apply for that 1890 scholarship.
Make sure y'all apply. And make sure that the majors that you are looking for are under that scholarship.
Right.
Please.
Get that money, baby. Get that money. Please.
So the next question would be, in terms of your freshman to sophomore year, how did you see yourself not only just grow, but along with you being the next in position for Miss Junior, tell me the exact process on what exactly made you want to run. Like, what in your mind said, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what my plan is. Just take me through that process.
Okay, so in high school, I wasn't really, like, active. Like, I was an athlete. I was the captain of my son's team. Like, I was mostly worried about work, school, and practice. That's right. So I'm talking about I'm going to practice at 4 a.m. in the morning, and then when I get out of school, I'm going to practice at 7. We was busy. So I just really wanted to come to college and, like, make the best of it. Be more active. Like, do more things. Get my name out there. Like, and honestly, I've been wanting to run for a position since my freshman year. Like,
really?
Yeah, like, my freshman year, during freshman week, I ran for freshman president. I didn't win. Okay. I ran for it. That in a way, that put my name out there, but, like, I had to continue to work, speak to people, communicate, connect. So that's how I got into the position that I am now. I'm happy to be in this position. I really thank God. I thank the people who supported me to be here. And what was the second part of your question?
The second part was, how did you see yourself grow from freshman to sophomore year?
My friends. Honestly. Like, no one is a bad person, but some people, like, aren't meant to be in your life at that time. You know? Like, I don't know. Like, as soon as certain people, like, left my life, I felt better. Like, I don't know. Right. Stuff started to click. Stuff started to make sense. Stuff started being put in place. No shame on nobody. No shame on absolutely nobody. But, like, you know, just everybody ain't meant for everybody. That's okay.
And that's real. I feel like a lot of people don't tell about that in college because when we first get here, and I'm going to be honest, I was in that space too. Coming from a whole nother state, I was trying to, like, find people who was like me. But of course, you're not going to find everybody like you. So, of course, you have to go find people that aren't like you to be your friends. But at the same time, you have to be cautious because everybody isn't on the same pathway.
Right, they don't have the same
or
goals.
Even in your same major. Like, some of my friends aren't even a biology major. And it's so cool, like, just seeing how all of us are together as people. And I feel like it's very important for those who are in their senior year, junior year, and even if it's just in high school in general, to just understand that a lot of your friends can come from uncommon situations. Like, I literally met one of my friends, shout out to Seleka, by the way. I met her literally, I was walking and I saw her at the amp. Like, I just sat down and I talked to her. So, all I'm going to say is just definitely be open to meeting new people. And most importantly, don't really limit yourself to who you hang yourself around.
That is so true. Because, like, I had recently hang out with, like, not necessarily my friend group, but, like, I had hung out with different people.
Right.
And I was like, I like these people. I like these people. But, yeah, don't limit yourself. Please don't limit yourself. Like, it's okay to have a friend group, but, like, speak to other people. If I don't know, I don't like to do nothing else, I like to meet new people. I like to talk to people.
Yeah.
Talker. I am. I'm friendly.
Yeah, I am too. And my crazy thing is, I don't know why we get such a bad rep for being so friendly.
Yes. Like, now, if I was just stuck up and I look mean all the time, which, I mean, I probably do got an RBF. A lot of people do, but...
Really? I don't think that.
You don't think I do?
No, I don't.
A lot of people be like, I got an RBF.
What?
I know. But... yeah, it's just... I'm friendly. I am friendly. Like, I would literally just go up to somebody and start talking. But a lot of times, that it's not... it's not shown to you. You know, like, you'll go to somebody and you'll be friendly, and then they may not show you the same energy. And it's just like, okay, what's next? But you gotta talk through it. It's okay. Okay.
Yeah.
They may think you're crazy, but it's okay.
If there is anything that you have learned in your experience here for Valley State University as a sophomore, or even as in the classification you are now, what would you say would be like the most defining experience for you?
Back to friends, man. I just feel like you gotta really be careful about who you be hanging around with. Like, you gotta be real careful. I don't know, like, and my thing is, like, I don't know. I don't want nobody to consider it as messy or nothing, but
it's not. Like, this space is definitely your space to talk. And if they do see it as messy, we apologize in advance, but this is her story, and her story should not be discredited.
Okay, I'm gonna start freshman year. I'm gonna just start with freshman year. Some people you're gonna be around some people that you may fall out with, and they may not have like the same potential, same drive as you. So you may like kind of distance yourself so that you could do more things. And I feel like, I'm not saying everybody, all my friends or whatnot, but I'm saying that certain people you have to step away from so that you can reach your fullest potential. Like, because I don't know, as soon as like certain people left my life, like I just feel like I felt like uplifted. Like, I just felt like I was doing more. I felt like I felt better. Like, I don't know. Like, even if it wasn't like a messy friendship, like, it was just like, once it was over, it was just like, okay, well, I can focus on God. I can focus on my academics. I can focus on my career. Because at the end of the day, that's why I'm here at Fort Valley State University. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get that degree. I'm going to get that money on.
Amen to that. And going back to what you said about God, how has God influenced your career at Fort Valley State?
Oh my God, don't get me started about talking about God. Oh my God.
We talk about anything on here, like,
oh my God,
anything.
God has got me through so much, y'all. Like, I'm telling you, oh my God, like, I'm gonna speak on campaign week, at least twice. I just literally just got to my knees and I just started crying. One, because I was overwhelmed with like what was going on. Like, it was fizz, which is a problem, social media, and just like negative people. And like, I just prayed about it, because like, I feel like at the end of the day, if you can't do nothing else, you can't control every situation. You cannot. But what you can do, what you can decide to do, is just take it to God. Because you wanted to go vent about it to somebody else. I mean, it's okay to vent, but like, you want to talk about it to somebody else, or talk mad. What are we doing? Like, you're not being productive. Like, I don't know. I just feel like praying is productive. Like, I just feel so much better after praying. Like, And even after I won, like, I was driving back. I was just crying. Like, I was just crying and thanking God. I was so happy. I was just happy. But yeah.
And that is honestly so real, because for those who don't know, I'm not only freshman, but I'm sophomore class secretary here at Fort Valley State. And the 2-time run is not for the weak. It is not for the weak, because everybody, you know, they see you as one way because they're so used to seeing you not really act a certain way or just apply yourself to certain situations and scenarios. I very much feel like I'm a multifaceted woman. Like, if you see my Instagram, you see me posting about me making graphics, me being, as I stated previously, a former dancer at my high school. I do makeup. I know how to cook. I know how to bake. Like, I know so much about myself, but at the same time, I don't really like to show it off to the world, because a lot of people, they feel like, okay, you've been in this position, let somebody else get it. Even though I would love to have somebody else get it, I've never had the experience of student leadership back home. Right. Crazy thing is, the reason why I feel like this is very big for me, because I ran for not only NHS secretary, but NHS social media chair for my school's chapter. And I lost twice. But the fact that I won freshman class secretary and sophomore class secretary twice, back to back, that meant a lot to me, because it shows me that I'm still able to lead. And especially, crazy thing is, I made history though, because me being from Chicago, it's not many people from my city that look like me, talk like me, carry themselves like myself, or most importantly, like I'm doing now with me having my own podcast. There's not a lot of faces like myself that are being broadcasted across everybody's screen, because we're so used to seeing people from, and no shade though, there's a lot of people from the same state that we see who are getting the reflection and stuff that they deserve. But if it's from somebody else who is not normally from here, they kind of get the backlash or the slack, because you're not seeing what you're used to. But at the end of the day, it's important to open our minds and our eyes to those who are not like us, because we never know what it means to be a blessing to those who do not look like us, or even from the situations that we are in. I don't share my story a lot because, you know, sometimes things happen at the end of the day. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I had a good life. There were some days where, you know, things happen, but at the end of the day, I know I'm not perfect. But the fact that I'm very humble and I'm very blessed to be in these positions and to make history back home, and know that, hey, I'm from Chicago. I came to a school which nobody has ever heard of a day in their life in my family, because my mom and my aunt were both HBCU graduates. So that's kind of what pushed me to being at an HBCU. But now being somewhere I've never heard of, it was hard at first, but at the end of the day, I'm making history, and there's a lot more for me to make.
Right. But like you said about, like, you losing 2 times and then winning this time, that just means, like, God has a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
Like, just like, say if I were to have lost, or say any position, like, you were to quote unquote fail. Yeah. God has a time and place for everything. Just because you fell in that position does not mean that it's never going to happen. That just means it's just not meant for you at that time. Just because the plan is not in sight at the time does not mean it's not going to be there at some point. Like, you got to be optimistic and keep pushing, because failure grows people. Like, failure, it does. Like, it makes a character. Like, me losing SGA but freshman president my freshman year, like, that pushed me. Like, it didn't make me feel like, oh well, that means I'm not gonna run for another position. Right. But it just it made me want to do more. Yeah. And but like, everybody should learn from that. You gotta learn from your failures, because that's the only way you're gonna learn and grow.
Speaking about the experience of failures, what has your failures taught you in terms of the place that you are now and as the woman that you are developing to be in?
Failure has taught me just to be optimistic through it all. Like, it may not look good at the time, but like, it's something in the midst of it that's better. Like, I know, for example, I did not do well on my speech. And I was in my head when I was running for this position and we were campaigning. In my head, I was counting the votes that I was not gonna get because of my speech. But then I realized, like, it doesn't matter about the people who don't vote for you. It matters about the people who do. Like, my little sister is voting for me. Like, that makes me feel good. Like, look, nobody got to be down for me. As long as my little sister's down for me, I'm good.
That's real.
As long as my friends are down for me, I am okay. Like, I have supporters. I may not have supporters, but Barack Obama don't have supporters. Like,
and he won twice.
What?
2 times.
The first Black African American president.
Twice.
Right? Yeah, not everybody's gonna have supporters.
Right.
Like, and that's okay. Look. A wise person once told me, shout out to JD, a dog don't bark at a parked car.
And that's just that on that.
Just let that sit how you let it sit. Boom. But a dog do not bark at a parked car. If you ain't doing nothing, a dog ain't gonna bark at you. Now, if you doing something, they gonna bark how they want to.
Yeah,
a dog gonna bark at a parked car. But you just gotta be optimistic through everything. You just keep pushing. Guess what? We ended up on tie, and that's all right.
Right.
That's all right.
The next question is, this kind of comes from your experiences. What is the biggest misconception that you have proven throughout your tenure so far at Fort Valley State?
That I'm stuck up. Like, I feel like a lot of people think I'm stuck up. And I feel like it's because of my image. But I don't know. Like, I try never to give, like, a stuck-up vibe. Like, I try to be humble. I try to be sweet. Like, I don't know. Like, but people are going to assume things based off of an image or based off of what other people have told them. But, like, the thing is, like, say, like, they have wrong assumptions about Amaya. But, like, the thing is, you just gotta, if you have a conversation with people,
they'll truly get to know you.
You'll get to know them rather than hearing what somebody else says or, like, what you're assuming. Like, that's a problem, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I work every day to make sure, not necessarily because it matters what other people think, but I just try to make sure that I don't give, like, stuck up or just any type of negative derogatory term or characteristic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I speak to, if I try to talk to everybody I can. I really do. I'm friendly. Like, I hate when my friends say that, but I know that I'm friendly. And that's okay.
And it's okay to be friendly.
Because you don't make connections without talking to people.
In the words of a wise lady named Miss Williams, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And my thing is, a lot of people sometimes, especially with us being at an HBCU as small as Fort Valley State, a lot of people don't really realize that connections are all we have. In terms of not only just students, but also faculty and staff that we meet along the way. It's very important for us to acknowledge the connections that we receive, because there were many people who were on this campus who are not only just alumni, but they came back as professors. Shout out to my professor Durham, by the way, in biology. She is actually in the career that I want to do, which is occupational therapy. So I literally ended up going to her one day and just asked her what did she do in order to get into school and things of that nature. And my thing is also, with me being a freshman right now, about to go into my sophomore year next year, I feel like it's very important for people to emphasize having the right connections, because there's such things as right and wrong connections, but we don't really tend to notice that until later on in the game. And I feel like we have to recognize that now, so that at the end of the day, it goes back into testing the spirit. Because when it comes to testing the spirit, you can go meet somebody at first glance and you be like, oh, okay, they cool. But at the same time, when you go later on and you start seeing them acting weird, that's just God showing you. Sometimes the connections that we made are there for a season and a reason to show us that sometimes we need to put ourselves in the shoes of them to see, what their life is like. And also, most importantly, just be alongside like-minded people, because when you are around the right people, whether if they are in student leadership, student athletes, Greek life, whatever the case may be, because you never know if you're going to need them for something in the future.
Right. But the thing, what you said about that, like, That's why it's good to have people around you that are equally yoked. Like, not everybody has to be on the same path as you, but like as long as they're doing something, like they're expecting to do something. Now, if you're just sitting around smoking and drinking and not doing your schoolwork, and you're paying what $9,000, $10,000 to come here, but you're just doing like the same 3 things. I don't want to be around that. Like,
absolutely.
It's just like, cause that's not building me. Like, if you're gonna have friends, you're supposed to build each other. Y'all are not supposed to stay in the exact same place that y'all were when y'all became friends. Like, y'all are supposed to be pushing each other to do more. You should never be comfortable. Right. You should never be comfortable. You should always want to do more. And I try to push my friends to do more. And if I have a friend that she's not pushing me to do more, he's not pushing me to do more, and I'm literally they're just riding up on my bag. They may not be your friend. Yeah. And that don't mean they're a bad person. That just means that they're not in the season that you're in. Just saying.
And that's real. I feel like we don't really testify about the seasons that we're in because, and I'm being really honest, I feel like with me being in college and me rededicating my life to Christ as I did previously in 2023, I've noticed that sometimes there are a lot of people who are in the Christian community and they tend to illustrate the good side of Christianity. Right. So, like, when you're in that first season and you just see them, they're on fire for God, like they're having an amazing time. But people don't tend to testify about the situations that they went through, which caused them to go through depression, anxiety, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, people don't realize that sometimes, and I'm going to be really honest, sometimes just prayer does not solve all the problems. And I'm being brutally honest. Like me being on campus, I had to teach myself during spring semester how to fast. I taught myself how to just only listen to worship music and things of that nature, because at the end of the day, if I'm not applying myself spiritually, because what I've learned is that our bodies are very temporary, but in those host bodies, we have our souls. And even though we have free will, it is in the free will that is given to us to express what our souls really want. Mm-hmm. So with that soul, I ended up doing some soul searching, especially with me being so young. And as a freshman, I had to, ask God, like, God, what do you want me to do? And I started seeing myself fasting, whether if it was a fruits and vegetable fast, whether it was a fast from social media, fast from people, fast from anything, because crazy thing is, it's okay to fast in college. It's just, you don't have to do, the fast that everybody else is doing. Because what we don't know is that every single fast that people may talk about on social media or even in a Christian community may not be for everybody. And honestly, that is truly okay, because everybody's relationship with God is very different from each other. And it's very important that us as college students start expressing that, because we don't really see that many college students, especially at HBCU, sharing about the spiritual experience, but on a deeper level, because there's only such a surface that we scratched on, and that only surface is just, prayer and just being in a certain place. But when there's more to that, sometimes you can go hold your friend accountable in a fast and say, hey, I'm going to hold you accountable. That's why it's very important to make those meaningful connections, because you have to start making a list and ask God, okay, what do you think I should have in a friend? And that's the craziest thing, because I started asking God in this season that I'm in now, respectively. I say, God, what do you want me to have in this season? And what he had me write down was, I wanted people in my life who knew how to fast and pray. I wanted people who knew how to pray for me in the spiritual. Mm-hmm. I wanted to have somebody who could pray on my behalf, and I don't even have to tell them. And that's a very big thing, because sometimes with us being either friends or family, we have to be able to go into the spiritual realm and in those secret places and pray over our people, even without others telling them to. Like, if God drops something in your mind, whether if that's a person, a thing, or just something that you want in life, you have to not only just do the simple go after it, but you have to go after it spiritually for it to manifest properly.
Right. Personally, for me, I tried like the fasting with food thing. Mm-hmm. Every single time I forgot.
I did too. And that's okay. And that is right. Okay.
But I did last year. I went through something. Very traumatic for me. Mm-hmm. But I ended up like doing a hiatus from like social media. So I ended up doing all social media, like every single platform besides TikTok. I deleted it, and I just took that moment. Like, it was probably like over 3 months. I wasn't on social media. I was just posting something that if I needed to post it. So I was a brand ambassador for this girl. So like I would post like one thing for like promoting her brand, but besides that, I wouldn't post. But like I took that time to like just pray, like honestly, because I wasn't in the best place like mentally. So I was just praying. I was going to church. I isolated myself. Like I isolated myself, but at the end of the day, I wasn't alone because I was with God. Like I was praying. I was like reading my Bible. I was genuinely trying to get closer with God. Now that was the end of last year. To this day, beginning of 2024, I'm still trying to get closer with God. But I feel like that time that I took to step away from social media, step away from people, I was able to just like I found comfort in like just talking to him. Like sometimes when I'm in a bad mood, I just go pray. Like something upsets me, I turn on some gospel music because you really have to be comfortable with being by yourself, because not every single, like, you don't always need to be with people. Like at the end of the day, regardless of where you go, everybody can't be with you at all times, but you know who can be with you at all times? God. So it's just like sometimes you just gotta find comfort in him in isolation. Like, and I feel like that hiatus helped me with being comfortable with being around him, talking to him, and just like it grew me, honestly. Like I'm to the point where it's like I'll have like miscommunications with people, but at the end of the day, like once I'm done with that conversation, I'm gonna still go pray for them, because you can't control what nobody else do, but you control what you do. Like you could go pray for them, because at the end of the day, y'all are 2 different individuals. Can't nobody you can't convince them of anything. You can't make them change. You can't do nothing, but you can pray. Absolutely. Nobody can control anybody but God. Like, it's like when I be looking at certain individuals and I realize like they're not praying, I'm like, because I feel like people that pray and people that are like trying to get close with God, they're blessed. Like they're genuinely blessed. Like the people who are having like these different issues, I'm just like, pray. Like, I mean, that's not always the answer, but it's just like, I don't know. Like, maybe it's personally for me, I feel better about praying, but I tell people all the time, just pray about it. Like, it's just, it's nothing else you could do.
Crazy thing is, you talk about that, and there is a verse in the Bible. I don't know exactly what it is, but it says something about the Lord is close to those who are brokenhearted in the spirit. And I don't know why that just dropped on me, but I just feel like I had to say that. Right. Because crazy thing is, I talked about this in one episode I did. For those who did not listen to the HBCU State of the Union episode, I heavily suggest you listen to that, because sometimes in college, we only hear about the good experiences, especially with us being HBCU students. At all 108 and growing HBCUs, we always hear what exactly is the HBCU experience, and that's just being around how people are being targeted. You hear about, the people that you put yourself around, whether if it's from your classification or even above those. And also, just most importantly, you see so many Black people, but at the same time, a lot of us, we all have a common struggle, which is trying to make it. Because, of course, us as young African Americans, we're already being pitted against. Whether if that's in the content industry, educationally, physically, mentally, spiritually, because it's always something on social media. And especially with these HBCU social media pages, we always see certain HBCUs being targeted besides the small ones. And it's always just very important for us to open up bigger conversations like how this one is now to those who are not in those of the Division I, NCAA, the SWAC division, or just those big name schools that you always hear about, because at the end of the day, you never know what these schools can offer. Especially with Fort Valley State, I didn't know they could offer, what they have for me so far. I didn't know that student leadership was even in me, period, because I've never seen myself as that leader. I've always seen myself working hard behind the scenes and people discover my talent later. But at the end of the day, that was what kind of pushed me to being so far in student leadership now, because being, like I said previously, so far away from home and not having the spaces that were very much needed for me, I wanted to make my own spaces. And what I've realized is that sometimes God does not want me to be multi-purposeful. And that was the craziest thing, as I spoke about that in another episode, Taylor Making the Missing Rooms. I spoke about that because I kind of brought it back to myself, where at college, I was like, I need to do everything. Whether that was apply myself in SGA, another club, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, you might not be ready for that point in your life yet. Because you have to be able to establish a common ground between you and God before he even progresses you. Which is why I feel like the reason why I was able to step out in faith. And the crazy thing is, God wants us to be delusional. And I'm being brutally honest. Because sometimes we always talk about that faith as a mustard seed. But sometimes God wants us to be delusional in that mustard seed faith. Because he wants you to think outside of what you can think about. Because he's going to do exceedingly, abundantly, and even above our imaginations. But at the same time, he's waiting for us to give him that, yes, God, I trust you. Let me be delusional. Let me go out the box. Because what I've learned about God, especially in college, is that God is an out-of-the-box God. Like, even though he might not give you something that you've thought about, he's going to say, hold on, let me place something else in your mind. And I feel like it's very important for us as college students to start actually sharing more about the struggles and how we actually built ourselves up from that. Because at the end of the day, there is no progress without struggle.
Amen. And honestly, that just speaks to the fact, like, you saying that, like, it's not meant for, okay. So my friend, like I said, I ran for freshman president, but I didn't win.
Right.
Because I wasn't ready. God knew that. I may not have thought that, but God knew that. My freshman year, I had a lot of ups and downs. I was not prepared for that, but I feel like once I took my hiatus, and it honestly, like, running for the position that I'm in now, like, putting in that tent form, I almost didn't do it. Like, I think I put it in, like, the day before, because, like, I was just questioning myself, and honestly, I was just praying. Like, I was thinking to myself, like, is it the time for this? Like, am I right for this? Am I ready? Am I prepared?
Right.
Like, I was praying. But then I look back at my vision board that I've had for years, and I saw, like, me, not even me, but, like, a crown.
Wow.
Yes, and I was just like, you know what? Let's do it. And you just really have to put yourself out there. Like, you can't be scared. Even if you do fail, it's okay. Because, like you said, like what you said, without failure or something.
Without failure, there's no progress.
Right. You're not gonna make progress. And I'm just so happy that I put it in that tent for. Yeah. I want to be in a position and be able to be exposed to who I'm gonna be exposed to next year. And I'm just happy that I stepped out of my comfort zone to do it. And I just encourage all HBCU students to do so. African Americans. Period. Get out of your comfort zone. Yeah. Like, you should never feel comfortable. Like, if you're comfortable, you're not doing something right.
Right.
You should always push yourself to do more. You should always push your friends to do more. Because not only when you're pushing yourself to do more, you're encouraging others to do more. And part of this HBCU family, we have to continue to encourage everybody. Like, it shouldn't be like, for example, like our SGA president, I look at her, and even our vice president, I look at her and I'm just like, wow, like, this is what I want to do. Maybe not in that specific position, but I just want to lead. Like, I want to encourage people. I want to inspire people and look good while doing it. Like, our SGA look good while doing it.
Hello. They do. They do. And my next question is, going back to that process of campaigning, was there another theme that you wanted to do?
Nah.
Really?
No.
No way.
When I put the intent form February 5th, that night, I worked on a lot.
Really?
Like, those few weeks, like, I had a lot prepared before campaigning. So I was prepared. But yeah, I want to do the Fresh Princess. I wanted to do it so badly. I can't even imagine me doing anything else. And I just love how everybody referred to me as the Fresh Princess. I just love that during campaign week. Like, it just, I don't know.
You know what's crazy? I actually did have a couple things.
Really?
I had a couple. The Genie. So, one of my favorite shows is I Dream of Jeannie. Like, I was watching it at home and I still watch it now. But the other themes I would have done were either Jumanji. Jumanji is like one of the hardest movies I've ever seen. And I remember
recent one?
No, like the original one.
Really?
The original one with Robin Williams. I think it came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
I used to love Jumanji as a kid. Like, I remember seeing it in 3rd grade. I used to love that movie and the book all the time. Like, if I seen Jumanji, I wanted to watch it. But as I grew up, I was like, Jumanji would be a hard theme because we did Coming to America for Clear. So I wanted to go along the lines of something that's never been done before. So while I was planning it, I had Jumanji. I wanted to do, I think Mean Girls was on the list. But there was another movie I had, though. I was going to do Miss Congeniality, too.
Period.
I did want to do that. Wait, I have the list of what it was in my phone. Really?
Before, I ran for the position, I wanted to make a brand, like a clothing brand, and it was going to be fresh. And the definition of fresh. I forgot what the definition of fresh was. But, like, I just kind of added on to fresh.
Right.
Fresh Princess. I feel like it was a cute thing. I didn't really have
that is cute. That is
nothing in mind, but it just stuck with me.
Yeah, definitely. If I did not do 1895 Wishes, I would have done either Jumanji, Mean Girls, Miss Congeniality, or there was another movie. I forgot what it was, but for me, I really wanted to go so out the box because everybody always knew me for being so creative and most importantly, somebody who doesn't like to stay inside of one box because I feel like I apply myself so much, and I thank God for allowing my parents to instill in me such innovation. That's why I say innovative and highly creative city of Chicago, because growing up, my parents was like, we want you to be different. We want you to have, a different mindset. So when I was thinking, especially with me now being in a position, I want to do so much more different. Like, I see myself doing a live episode of my podcast, like sitting in front and having like different people from positions. Even one day, like, I want to do different people from HBCUs. Shout out to Marquand from Southern University. I love you. We actually did an interview and he was a part of the cheer program, but I really want to start doing a thing where I talk to different people from HBCUs, whether they're in a student athlete position, student leadership, Greek life, whatever it may be, because a lot of us as HBCU students are so multifaceted, and I feel like we have to start in our communities, and most importantly, just started creating our own platforms. Like, and I'm being real honest, I feel like my podcast could really be a bigger platform for HBCU students and also PWI students. Because there are some people who have not only transferred from the PWI to HBCU, but reverse as well. Because we are very more diverse and versatile than what we think. And I feel like it's very important, especially starting here with Fort Valley State University being the first to create such a big thing like this and keep it going.
Right. I get that. I definitely agree. But honestly, how you said about HBCUs and PWIs, I feel like all universities have their own issues, though.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like they try to like downplay like an HBCU.
Yeah, absolutely.
The issue, like, for example, they'll talk about, say, like Fort Valley. Well, Fort Valley don't have this. Fort Valley don't have that. But if you go to Spelman paying $40,000, it's like in tuition, y'all don't have it either.
We sorry, Spelmanites.
We love y'all.
We love y'all so much. HBCU Unity, don't cancel us, but we being real.
I'm just saying in general, like any HBCU, even Howard, like Howard does not have everything. Every university is gonna lack something. Even the PWIs. Kennesaw has the best food I've ever had, but if you go to a university, they have issues as well.
Right.
It's not just at HBCU. So I just had to touch on that.
And that's real. We don't send no shade. This is not a shady thing. We're just giving y'all a real perspective because HBCUs and PWIs alike, and even trade schools as well. We don't talk about that pipeline, but at the same time, a lot of these things we tend to talk about aren't being expressed because it's not normal.
Right. But I definitely feel like every university has their issue.
Absolutely.
Every single one of them.
Absolutely.
It's not just Fort Valley. It's not just Clarkland. It's not just Spelman. It's not just Howard.
It's not just Morehouse. It's not.
It's not.
It's
any
everybody.
University that you go to, you're gonna have
absolutely
at least one issue.
Yeah.
It's too many of y'all not to have at least one issue. It's just you gotta pick. You gotta pick where you prefer.
Right.
That's it. That's all. It's either you're gonna like not having housing, or you're gonna prefer to be just a number in the classroom. But you gotta pick that. That's okay. That's your choice, though.
Right. Next question is, what's next for Jordan? What do you see yourself doing?
Being the best Miss Junior that I can possibly be, and that's just not representing like being on Royal Court doesn't just mean like, oh yeah, you're the face, this, and the third. No, it also means representing. It also means inspiring, encouraging others to be successful. Fresh Princess is not just, oh, she's fresh. She's the Fresh Princess. Fresh stands for fueling and raising everyone to strive higher. And I plan to not only stand on that during campaign season, but when I have my reign. Like, I want to have, like, different events. Like, I know that I want to encourage my class, because I feel like with my class, we lack wanting to be in leadership positions and wanting to do more. Like, my class is very comfortable. Like, we're very comfortable. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but I feel like we're very comfortable. And I just want to push people to, like, want to come out. Like, get out your room. Like, go to an event. Meet new people. Like, it's always, if it ain't Saturday at the Playhouses, they're not coming outside. And I feel like that's an issue. Like, I don't know. I just feel like you're going to get more out of going to an event for school rather than going to Playhouse on the weekend. I mean, that's fun. Like, you can do that now. Because one thing about me, I'm a turn-up. I'm a college student at the end of the day.
Right.
But you also have to want to build yourself. You're not...
Right.
You going to Playhouse every weekend, but it's okay that you go to Playhouse every weekend, but you going to Playhouse every weekend, but not being active and then complaining about, like, what's going on around you. You can't. Like, for those who continue to complain about things that's happening around them, but don't choose not to do anything to make it better, I don't know. I just don't like stuff like that. So I want to encourage my class, not even just my class, but everybody just to do better. Like, because as a generation, as African Americans, as a race, we can do better. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And the last question is, there's going to be a good one. What do you have in store in terms of your reign?
Okay. So, honestly, I want to encourage everybody and kind of open people's eyes to, like, more opportunities, internships. Like, not only should we get emails about, like, internships, I want more people to come here talk to us. Like, say, for careers, like, if you have a career and it's, like, out of the box, I want someone to be able to come speak to us about it. But my only thing is, if I have an event like that, I feel like I would lack, like, people coming. So, I don't know. Like, I just really want to encourage people to be more active.
Right.
And also encourage them to do more once they're out of college. Like, and be more well-versed in what they can do. It's not... You don't have to be stuck with what you came here for.
Right.
You can do other things. Like, this is a big, wide world. It's so many different things that we could do with our majors. Like... I just want to have more scholarship opportunities, internships, and anything in general. More. Just more. Because I feel like that's important.
And as we wrap this up, this is definitely just a chunk of the conversation. I definitely want to, do a part 2 and do more about this, because I feel like it's very important. But also, with us being in the student leadership, people don't really see the side of us. They don't really see the side of us talking, and most importantly, just getting other things out like this. And I feel like with us being in the era now where social media not only just aids, but sometimes it can be our downfall. It's very important to use it in a...
Dang.
Wait, y'all. Well, we just gonna have to end it like this. Y'all, if y'all do not know what happened, the video cut out. But
and that's all right.
That's okay. That's okay. But we just want to say thank you guys for joining us in on this conversation. And for Jordan, if there is any ways for our viewers to reach out to you, give us any contact information.
Okay, so y'all can follow me on Instagram at Jordan Camille, and that's Jordan JordanCamille _ on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. And most importantly, we just want to thank you guys for being here with us today in the palace. First of all, we thank God because without him, we are nothing. Thank you, Jordan, because this was actually, for those who do not know, this was very unexpected. When she told me she wanted to collab, I jumped on it because I really wanted to do an HBCU thing so bad, especially here in Fort Valley State. And the fact that it's actually here, I'm very proud. For those who do not know, if you guys have any mental health scenarios or anything of that nature, please call 988. Or most important, you guys have my contact info, which is on all social media platforms at the.amayakai. And it's very important for me as the host to not only just emphasize on that, but most importantly, just let everybody know that it's very important to have someone to talk to. And as a host, I want to make sure that I emphasize that at each and every episode, every time, because at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about what the outreach is for the community, especially for us in the HBCU circuit. And before we go, I just want to let y'all know, stay tuned because we will be doing some new things on here. I'm very excited for it. I just can't reveal it yet. But most importantly, it has been amazing. I love you all so, so much. If you guys have not dedicated your life to God, do that. Call 988 for all mental health scenarios. And most importantly, I know I haven't said this, but free Palestine in every country under genocide right now. It's very important that we advocate for those who are in situations like that because it could have been us. And it's very important that we put ourselves in that situation. And last but not least, follow this podcast on all social media platforms at People's Princess Podcast. Most importantly, follow my guest Jordan at Jordan Camille, and most importantly, myself at the.amayakai on all social media platforms. We love you all, and we will see you next time at the Palace. I am your host, Amaya Kai, and this is another conversation on the People's Princess Podcast, the place that provides intimate and intentional conversations surely to make you feel like royalty. Bye.